Hello viewers, I am Lakshmi Padmanabhan. Welcome to Gandhi Hacks in South Africa. In the last episode, we saw Mohandas Gandhi touring the big cities in India, Bombay, Pune, Madras and Calcutta. And while he was in Calcutta, he got the message from the NIC that his presence was needed there in Durban. The parliament, the Natal parliament was about to meet in 1897, and his presence was vitally needed because the parliament would take for discussion the franchise bill, the £3 tax and other matters connected to the Indians in Natal. Dada Abdullah had just then bought a new steamship. Its name was SS Courland. And he was keen that Gandhi Bhai and his family should travel by that back to Natal. It was the very first time that Mohandas Gandhi and Kasturba and the children were traveling together. So it started in November 1896. That same day, another ship by name SS Naderi also had set sail from Bombay, carrying around 800 passengers in it. Musings on his relationship with Kasturba recur in my experiments with truth. And Gandhi holds himself guilty of not treating her properly, especially in the early years of their marriage. More than the individuals in the relationship, it was the system of child marriage that Gandhi was very critical of. He considered himself and Ba victims of this evil system. What happened in these child marriages was the boys usually would be somewhat educated, they would have had schooling at least, but the girls were totally illiterate. And the boys had the chances to progress more in life, study further, take up jobs and really be better off. But the girls usually graduated only to motherhood and to domesticity. This happened, of course, in Gandhi's own marriage. Ba was illiterate. Mohandas had gone to England, become a barrister, and he went to South Africa. There, that place catapulted him into a prominent leader of the Indian community. Now he came back and he found Kasturba in the same place, culturally and educationally, absolutely no change in her life. Now all on a sudden she was to move into her husband's world, and he had to coach her about how to go about it. At that point in time, Mohandas Gandhi was enamored of the European lifestyle. He did not want his family to be thought of as Kathiyavari Baniyas. At the same time, to clothe Kasturba in a frock would be absurd. So he struck a kind of via media. The Parsis at that time were known to be the most fashionable people among the Indians. So he wanted her to copy the manners, copy the dress of the Parsis. That is, wear the sari in the Parsi fashion. And the children had to wear socks all the time. Their tender feet had to be put into socks and shoes and things of that kind. And the worst was they had to eat with knives and forks. All this they would have found a big torture, and they would have cried and kicked against all these things, but their dad had his own reasons, his own explanations for all these things. So somehow they tried to follow his instructions in all these matters. Later on, of course, Mohandas Gandhi changes all this, his entire perspective changes, and then you find him following a totally Indian kind of lifestyle. But that was much, much later. At this point, when they were traveling to Durban, they had to follow some of these earlier, aping manners of Gandhi. But the excitement of the voyage might have been sufficient compensation for all this, for Kasturba and the children. For the first time in their lives, they were being shown an amazing world. I am sure they might have been very excited to be inside the great ship, being surrounded by this wonderland of waters. Steamship Courland was expected to reach Durban in 18 days flat without any halts at any ports. But just 4 days before the expected landing, a gale overtook the voyagers. It was December, the season of storms and strong winds in the southern hemisphere. So SS Kurland was taken aback by it. An atmosphere of alarm prevailed in the ship. Prayers began to go up from the lips of the voyagers. They prayed to the Almighty, irrespective of the religions that they followed. The captain, while joining in their prayers, reassured them that the ship was strong enough to withstand any strong wind. But the ship was being buffeted, turned upside down, and any moment the water would enter the ship and it would sink. This situation continued for 24 hours. But after that, all on a sudden, everything became calm, and there was wild celebration inside the ship, full of thanksgiving to God. They sang and they danced and they enjoyed themselves. So towards the end of the journey, it was all very, very joyous. Mohandas Gandhi was an experienced voyager by now. He had been used to the sea, so he was quite calm. He was not disturbed by the storm in the sea. He was in a position to go to each passenger and console him, reassure him that nothing would happen. The gale in mid-ocean was just a prelude to the storm that was awaiting him in Durban. What was that storm and what led to the storm, we will see in the next episode. Thank you.